Kibore Cheruiyot Ngasuraagain is about 100 years old. In 1952, he was among a group of young men chosen to sing for then Princess Elizabeth at an event near Lake Victoria. The men planned to use the occasion to petition Elizabeth to relocate their parents from a detention camp. Members of the Talai clan had been held for nearly 2 decades on suspicion of fomenting resistance against British colonial rule. The event never happened. King George VI had died, and the new queen hurried back to London. More than 70 years later, Elizabeth's son, King Charles, will visit Kenya this week. Ngasuraagain wants to inform him that they should be compensated for the hardship they went through. Joel Kmeto is the representative of the Kipsigis ethnic group, of which the Talai are one of 196 clans.
We are asking King Charles III also to touch on the same. Say something about these lands. Why are they still being used by the British while the Kipsigis people are suffering?
People in detention camps were released in 1962, but the land where they had once grazed their livestock now belonged to British settlers and tea companies. Today, Ngasuraagain and his descendants survive off half a dozen cows and some maize crops. Buckingham Palace said Charles's visit will acknowledge painful aspects of the UK and Kenya's shared history. The British ruled for more than 6 decades before Kenya won its independence in 1963. A UN report in 2021 said more than 500,000 Kenyans around the western town of Kericho suffered gross human rights violations, including unlawful killings and land expropriation during British colonial rule. Kipchoge Arab Chomu is visiting the mausoleum for Koitalel Samoei, his great-grandfather. Samoei was a colonial-era chief of the Nandi people who fought against British colonial rule. According to historical records, Samoei was murdered in 1905 by a British intelligence officer.
In fact, we don't request. In fact, we have to demand a public apology from the government of British because of the atrocities they meted on our people. The first one is an apology. After the apologies, we also expect a reparation.
The British government has not been receptive in the past to requests by the Kipsigis and Talai to discuss compensation. In 2019, it informed the communities it had no intention to enter any process to resolve the claims, according to the UN report. A spokesperson for the British government's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office noted that the UK government had previously expressed regret for abuses committed during a 1952 to 1960 uprising in central Kenya against colonial rule. The spokesperson did not address the allegations raised by the Kipsigis and Talai. Buckingham Palace did not respond to a request for comment.